This is a big story we have been talking about here in the newsroom in California.
Valley Joe Police Detective Ed Rust was on patrol near Blue Rock Springs late at night.
A team of investigators say they have identified the Zodiac killer whom they believe is connected to 5 murders.
Just before midnight, Rust got a call over the radio about possible shots fired in that area. He quickly drove to the Lover's Lane, which was close to Lake Herman Road.
In the San Francisco Bay Area back in the late 1960s.
When Rust arrived, he saw a man lying on the ground, covered in blood with serious wounds to his face and neck.
Cole, it's amazing. We should first say that this case is not officially solved.
The man was moaning, clearly badly hurt. Inside a nearby car, Rust found a young woman slumped over the steering wheel. She had been shot multiple times in the back and was in critical condition. The attack had happened less than an hour earlier. Soon after, police received a chilling phone call from a man claiming to be the Rock Springs shooter. The caller admitted to shooting 2 people at the park and said he had also killed 2 others the year before. The man ended the call with a mocking, "Goodbye." The police traced the call to a nearby payphone, but no usable fingerprints were found. This terrifying event was only the beginning of the Zodiac killer's deadly game. Zodiac's first letters, after the Blue Rock Springs attack, the San Francisco Chronicle received a strange letter from someone claiming to be the Valley Joe killer. This letter included private details of the crimes to prove its authenticity. It was addressed, "Please rush to editor," and signed with a strange crossed circle symbol. This symbol later became known as the Zodiac sign. In 1969, Robert Graysmith worked as an editorial cartoonist at the Chronicle. He recalled how the newspaper began getting bizarre letters from the killer. These letters contained codes and threats. The Zodiac demanded the papers print his secret ciphers, warning that if they did not, he would continue killing. The codes were strange, each made up of 8 lines with 17 symbols. The killer promised that decoding them would reveal his identity. Despite the FBI and NSA trying, no one could solve these ciphers at first. But one weekend, a high school teacher named Donald Hardin and his wife worked at their kitchen table and finally cracked the code. Instead of the killer's name, the cipher revealed his dark motive: "I like killing because killing people is the most dangerous game in the world." These letters marked the start of a terrifying game that gripped the nation. Codebreaker's discovery, the mysterious Zodiac ciphers puzzled experts for months. The codes sent to newspapers were full of strange symbols arranged in neat lines. The killer promised that decoding these messages would reveal his identity. Many top agencies, including the FBI and NSA, tried but failed to crack them. Then, a high school teacher named Donald Hardin and his wife Betty took on the challenge. They worked together over a weekend at their kitchen table without giving up. Their patience and dedication paid off when they finally unlocked the secret behind the symbols. Instead of revealing the killer's name, the decoded message explained the Zodiac's twisted motive. It said, "I like killing because killing people is the most dangerous game in the world." This chilling confession gave insight into the mind of a man who saw murder as a deadly sport. The codebreaker's discovery was a breakthrough in the case, but it also revealed how dangerous and calculating the Zodiac killer was. He wasn't just a murderer, he wanted to play a deadly game that kept the whole country watching and afraid. The hunt for the Zodiac was only just beginning. Lake Berryessa murder. On September 27, 1969, Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell were enjoying a peaceful picnic by the shore of Lake Berryessa. Suddenly, their quiet afternoon turned into a nightmare. A man wearing an executioner's hood with the Zodiac symbol on his chest attacked them with a knife. Cecilia was stabbed multiple times and later died from her wounds. Brian was also seriously hurt but survived the brutal attack. He never saw the killer's face as the man kept his hood on during the assault. On the same day, police received a tip about a man named Arthur Leigh Allen. Allen had told family he was going scuba diving at Lake Berryessa, but returned with blood on his clothes and a knife in his car. A friend, Don Cheney, claimed Allen called himself the Zodiac before anyone else had heard the name. Police began questioning Allen about the murders. When asked about the most dangerous game, Allen said it was his favorite book since high school. The story was about a man named Count Zaroff who hunted people, dressed in black like the Zodiac, using weapons like guns and bows. Though Allen fit the profile of the killer, investigators couldn't find enough evidence to charge him, and the mystery deepened. Suspect Arthur Leigh Allen seemed to fit the Zodiac killer's profile perfectly. He was a white male in his early 30s, a loner who loved guns and had a high IQ. Allen even told friends he planned to hunt people with a gun and flashlight, and he once said he might call himself the Zodiac. Despite these suspicious details, police couldn't find any physical evidence linking Allen to the murders. There were no fingerprints or handwriting matches, and no DNA evidence connected him to the crimes. Without proof, the investigation into Allen began to lose momentum. Over the years, the Zodiac killings stopped, and the case went cold. Allen remained a main suspect in the minds of some detectives, but without hard evidence, no charges were ever filed. In 1992, Allen died of a heart attack, just as investigators were still trying to build a case against him. Before his body was buried, police collected tissue samples from his brain to preserve DNA in case future technology could link him to the Zodiac crimes. Even after his death, Arthur Allen remained a central figure in the Zodiac mystery, symbolizing the elusive and frustrating nature of the case that still haunts law enforcement and true crime fans today. DNA and palm print tests. Years after Arthur Allen's death, detectives hoped that new forensic technology could solve the Zodiac case. Carol Kelly, a homicide detective with the San Francisco Police Department, believed that DNA evidence might finally reveal the killer's identity. Unlike fingerprints, DNA was harder to hide, and Carol thought the Zodiac probably didn't take precautions against leaving it behind. But before testing could begin, experts had to decide which of the many Zodiac letters were real and worth analyzing. Susan Morton, a forensic document examiner, carefully examined the letters for authenticity. She explained that people often left palm prints on paper without knowing it, especially from resting the heel of their palm while writing. One of the Zodiac's final authenticated letters had a palm print on it. Police compared this print with those taken from Arthur Allen. The result was clear. There was no match. DNA testing also failed to link Allen to the Zodiac. Without fingerprint, palm print, or DNA evidence, Allen was officially cleared as a suspect. This left detectives frustrated, as the case remained unsolved despite advances in forensic science. The Zodiac killer's identity stayed a mystery, keeping the case open and haunting investigators to this day. The case remains open. The Zodiac killer case remains one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in American history. Detectives like Carol Kelly believe the killer is either dead or in prison, but no one knows for sure. The search for the truth continues because the families of the victims deserve answers. For 5 families, the Zodiac is not a legend or a story, but a real man who took their loved ones away. These crimes caused deep and lasting pain for those who survived and for those left behind. The victims' families live with the memory of what happened every day. Despite decades passing, law enforcement still works hard to identify the Zodiac. They use new technology and follow every possible lead. The hope is to finally hold the killer responsible and bring justice. The Zodiac killer is a reminder of how one person's actions can affect many lives forever. Though the case is cold, it is never forgotten. For the families, and for the detectives, the search for answers goes on. The mystery of the Zodiac still haunts the world, waiting for the day it will be solved. Hit subscribe and tell us, who do you think was the real Zodiac killer? Share your thoughts below. Don't miss our next video. They said it was an accident until the autopsy spoke.